So the name change is not the issue here. You can be a pragmatic progressive. It's possible because Medicare for all is very pragmatic. Ending all the wars is very pragmatic. A Green New Deal is necessary and very pragmatic. The issue isn't the name change. The issue is that they would no longer fight for the progressive policies that they said they were in favor of.
Keep it 100, I be feeling like Campbell soup over white rice, baked chicken with the skin on, yeah, Lowry's with black pepper, I'm fully seasoned with that.
So what's up, y'all? So today what I want to talk about is Our Revolution. Our Revolution is a non-profit political organization that was founded by Bernie Sanders to help grassroots progressives get elected into Congress, and it essentially acts as a super PAC. So Our Revolution, they decided that they will be rebranding itself into Pragmatic Progressives. So this article is from the AP. Pro Sanders group rebranding into Pragmatic Progressives. Stinging from the disappointment of Bernie Sanders' loss in the 2016 Democratic presidential primary, supporters pumped millions into the powerful advocacy group Our Revolution to keep the progressive fight alive and prepare for another swing at the White House. But after another defeat in 2020, the 79-year-old Vermont senator is unlikely to run for president a third time, and the organization, centered on his fiery brand of politics, is undergoing a rebranding. Rather than insisting on Medicare for all, Sanders' trademark universal government-funded healthcare plan, or climate change fighting Green New Deal, Our Revolution is focusing on the more modest alternatives endorsed by President Joe Biden. Those include expanding eligibility for the existing Medicare program and curtailing federal subsidies for fossil fuel companies. The group says it wants to make sure Biden keeps his promises on those and other top issues. The shift reflects a progressive movement that is at a crossroads. Biden won the Democratic nomination last year by offering more centrist alternatives to Sanders' agenda. Since then, progressive candidates have faced a series of electoral disappointments and are contending with anxiety from moderate Democrats worried that the party's leftward shift could cost them control of Congress during next year's midterm elections. So one thing that I want to point out that I didn't pick up on when I was planning this story was the part where they said that Joe Biden won because he offered a centrist alternative. And that's a complete nonsense narrative. So Joe Biden, he was able to clinch the Democratic nomination because Obama put his thumb on the scale. And at the very last moment, on Super Tuesday, he made calls to make sure every single Democratic nominee backed Joe Biden, while Elizabeth Warren stayed in the race, so which pulled votes from Bernie Sanders. So I just want to address that really quickly. Joe Biden didn't win because he is more centrist. No one agrees with any of the centrist Democratic BS. Everybody hates the centrist Democrats. They don't agree with their nonsense. They were fooled by mainstream media that being centrist, being in the middle, a Washington centrist is a far right winger when talking about compared to the average American. They're far right, especially on economics. No one agrees with the centrists. No one. So now back to my points. It's garbage, complete garbage. So the name change is not the issue here. You can be a pragmatic progressive. It's possible because Medicare for all is very pragmatic. Ending all the wars is very pragmatic. A Green New Deal is necessary and very pragmatic. The issue isn't the name change. The issue is that they would no longer fight for the progressive policies that they said they were in favor of. So to go off on a slight tangent here, the direction that this group is going, it shows that the word revolution, or at least the political revolution, was just a catchphrase. They didn't actually believe any of that. It was never a course of action. It's just something that they said to get people fired up. We need a revolution. They didn't mean any of that. It's quite clear they did not mean that. It's all a complete joke. So back to my main point. So this group, because Bernie Sanders lost in 2016 and 2020 in the Democratic primaries, they no longer fight for Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, and ending all the wars. So this tells me one thing. They were never in favor of these things in the first place. You know what Martin Luther King said? The true test of someone's character is where you stand when things are easy. So now apparently they're going to fight for modest alternatives to Medicare for all. You know, Obamacare, which causes 33,000 people to die every single year because they can't afford to see a doctor, and it leaves their family with a modest amount of medical debt. That seems quite modest. That seems quite modest, don't you think? How modest of you to allow 33,000 people to die a year, to no longer fight for the 33,000 people who will die because they can't afford health care, and the hundreds of thousands who will go into medical debt every single year because they can't afford medical bills. How modest of you to no longer fight for those people. I really appreciate your modesty. So they just plan on implementing Biden's agenda. So Joe Biden, he said he wants to expand Medicare to 60 years old. Decrease the age to 60 from 65, where I believe it is now. Did you know in 2016 when Hillary Clinton ran, that she said she wanted the age for Medicare to be 55? So that's by definition not progressive. That's regressive. We're going backwards. Joe Biden is worse. So if we had a President Hillary Clinton in some hypothetical situation, the age for Medicare would be 55, and we're accepting him saying 60 is okay? Are you kidding me? These are the pragmatic progressives. That was once our revolution. They don't give a damn about you. It was just a catchphrase, because catchphrases is what gets people hype. It's what brings in the support. I don't know Hillary Clinton's catchphrase. That's why she lost. Donald Trump's catchphrase was "Make America Great Again." Bernie Sanders didn't win, but his catchphrase was "It's time to start a political revolution," which many people believed. I believed at one point. Obama was something about change and hope. So that's all our revolution is. A political revolution was a catchphrase. Not an actual actionable item. They never planned on acting on any point, because anytime they had the opportunity to fight the progressives in Congress, they didn't. They didn't file force a vote. They didn't file $15 minimum wage. And here's the thing. This is a slightly off topic, but it's not completely. Every single vote in the House and in the Senate is needed. So the progressives in Congress, unless they vote for whatever bill Joe Biden wants, it cannot pass. They can hold up whatever bill Joe Biden and the Democrats put up. They can hold it up unless their priorities are in the bill. But they choose not to because they don't give a damn. There was a clip with AOC and Cori Bush giving I believe it was in Washington. They did a rally where they spoke about the eviction moratorium, and there was someone, a citizen, that asked a question like, "What about the 1%? I believe, the million people who will still lose their homes?" And AOC just said, "We'll figure it out." And Cori Bush turned up the music to drown out the person asking the question. I'm gonna play the clip.
Because here they are celebrating that they got a victory. Well, people ask them, hey, what about the people who don't have rent? forgiveness? And what about the 10% of the people who aren't covered? Because this is a targeted moratorium. That means 1.1 million people are going to be left out. What's your answer for those 1.1 million people? What this shows you that they are not genuine. This was a stunt, and now those people are out on they're all fucked. And watch how they care. Watch how they care.
People said, "How are you going to do it? What's your 10-point plan? What are you doing 5:30 p.m. on Saturday? How many days are you going to be here?"
So those were people when they started it, asking them, "How long are you willing to do this? And what are you willing to do to make? They were trying to get them to actually commit, but they wouldn't. And so she's trying to dismiss those people who are trying to get them to commit. How long are you going to stay here? And what is the reaction? What is the action you want to take place? What is your demand? And how long are you willing to stay here? And who else are you going to call down here to protest? Those are the questions. Those are legit. So, by the way, that is organizing 101. You lay out your agenda, what you're going to do, what your demands are. And they wouldn't do that. And here we go.
Yeah, but what about? And we said none of that matters. We're going to figure that out.
So someone says, what about people's rent forgiveness? And she doesn't have an answer for it. We're going to figure that out. No, you're not. No, you're not. You didn't even figure out the eviction moratorium. You didn't figure it out at all. And it gets worse.
But
what are you going to do? You asked us what we're going to do. What are you guys going to do?
Here's what we're going to do. The CDC just announced an eviction moratorium, and what we're here is for our reasons known and unknown. So our reasons known was to make sure that we extended this moratorium. That's what we're here to.
What about the 10%?
What about the 10% of people this moratorium doesn't cover? That's 1.1 million people. That's a legitimate question. And if you really cared about people and people being evicted, you would care about them just as much as the other people. But they don't care about them to the point where they stick their fingers in their ears. You think I'm kidding?
What about the 10%?
Okay, we're going to turn on some music now.
What about the 10%? We can't sell.
Is that a progressive? That's what progressives do. I remember Hillary Clinton doing that. Hillary Clinton, the DNC did that to Nina Turner a couple years ago. And progressives were mad about that. So if y'all not some damn hypocrites, y'all should be pissed off that AOC and Cori Bush are doing the exact same damn thing. It's either you have principle or you don't. It was bullshit when the DNC did it to Nina Turner, and it's bullshit now that AOC and Cori Bush did it to people asking them questions. I believe it was Max Blumenthal. He tried to interview Cori Bush and asked, hey, why didn't you withhold your vote to get a vote on Medicare for all, the whole forced vote theory? Why didn't you do that? And she allowed the security guard to whisk him away. She allowed that to happen.
And I heard, like last night, there was a lot less people. It's great to see so many more people. But I heard there was an intense debate about the role of the squad and why the squad didn't leverage its vote for the speaker for Medicare for all vote, and why the squad, I mean, with the margin so narrow in Congress, why the squad didn't because leverage its vote on the stimulus to get a $15 minimum wage. What?
No. So first, one thing that was said last night, which is something that's very true, and I wish we would have talked about that this was where your conversation was going, because we're talking about the rally for tonight. And I really would love to keep the conversation on what's happening.
I feel like it's all related to healthcare and
it absolutely is, but this is the thing. What was said last night is that this bill, Medicare for All, is not, there's no person on the squad whose bill that is. That is Bernie Sanders' bill in the Senate. It is Pramila Jayapal's bill in the House. It is not our bill. We cannot make that bill come to the floor. There is nothing that we can do legally to get the bill to the floor. We have.
But Pelosi could have brought the bill to the floor.
We're good here, thank you.
Well,
I'm sorry, man. We're fine at this.
Why can't she answer the question?
We're here to talk about the eviction.
But I feel like it's all about health care.
Thank you.
No, really appreciate that.
Really appreciate your time.
We're here for a reason. It's about the moratorium.
Well,
Thank you.
why is that? I can't ask about Medicare for all.
The congresswoman has slept 1 hour. She's done a lot of labor.
Okay, I'm trying to get people out here too.
I respect your work.
I'm trying to do the same thing you all are
Wonderful.
doing.
Thank you for being here.
But why
Appreciate
can't
you.
she could just answer it and then I go away? I'm not trying to attack her or anything. I'm not trying to smear her.
We're happy to give you a contact and you can reach
But
out.
why is that issue, the Medicare for all vote, so she was wrapping up
I'm
her?
not having this conversation
But she was
with you.
wrapping
I'm
up her.
happy to give you-
I know she was
I'm happy-
wrapping up
I'm
her
happy to-
answer. Then
I'm
I was
happy
going to
to-
say thank you.
Oh,
Everybody come out.
I appreciate
But why
that.
didn't you let her just wrap up her
I
answer?
really appreciate you. We're happy to give you a contact. You can feel free to reach out. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks. Okay, they wouldn't even let her finish her answer. I mean, I thought it was a perfectly fine explanation, and I was just going to be like, okay, thank you for answering.
What activist is afraid to answer questions? She's supposed to be an activist. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. None of them. None of them. They're all garbage. The Democrats always find a way to have just enough votes to pass the shittiest things and fall short just enough to not get anything passed. They always find a way to do so. No matter we have progressives in Congress, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Ilhan Omar. They always find a way not to get shit done. Or whether we had no progressives in Congress, it still didn't get anything done. What does that tell you? They don't care. They do not give a damn about you. None of them. These politicians are all cowards. Every single one of them. Especially the ones that pretend they're on your side. They're the worst. Because Republicans are a clear enemy to the Democrats. And then the Democrats are a clear enemy to the progressives. But then many progressives want to kiss the many progressives that aren't in Congress. The average people want to kiss progressives' ass because they say they're on your side, because they identify as progressive. But they're an enemy too. If they're not actively fighting for your interests, remember, a congressperson, a politician is a public servant. They're supposed to serve you. You're not supposed to go kiss their ass. I think a lot of y'all forget that. So if they're not serving your interest, they're an enemy. It's plain and simple. It's not that complicated. It's I promise you it's not. Bernie Sanders, he is more concerned about not being the next Ralph Nader than getting concessions from Joe Biden after it was pretty clear he was going to lose the Democratic primary. He could have said, listen, I'll throw my support behind you, but you gotta give me this, and this. If you do that, then I'll support you, because you absolutely need my supporters to win. And that is very true. Joe Biden, even though he won the popular vote by a large margin, he barely won in the key swing states. 100,000 votes between, I believe, 3 or 4 swing states, Donald Trump would be president right now. That's how close it was. So Joe Biden absolutely needed every single vote. So Bernie Sanders could have gotten concessions, but he chose not to because he didn't want to be Ralph Nader. So he didn't care about fighting for you. He cared about his own personal image. He cared about his own legacy. And that's how all these politicians are. It's just being real. You can be mad at me because I'm saying it, but that doesn't make any sense. You should be mad at a politician who's not fighting. You can look at this objectively, or you can just be mad at someone that's talking shit online. What are you gonna do? It's up to you to decide. And we should have known this because Bernie Sanders, he threw so many people under the bus over the years. Starting with Zevra Teachout, that's the first I can remember at least. He threw Zevra Teachout under the bus. He threw his press secretary, Breonna Joy Gray, under the bus. And then recently this year, he threw Kyle Kulinski, one of his biggest supporters, under the bus. Kyle Kulinski was a supporter of Bernie Sanders before Bernie Sanders even ran for president. And I know it's because I've seen one of his old clips praising Bernie Sanders before he decided to run. So anybody has a little criticism of Bernie Sanders, he's like, F them. At least if they're progressives. If they're on the left. But mainstream media, he still goes on MSNBC, CNN, despite them despite them being the main reason he lost in the first place, one of the main reasons, and them stomping on his face day after day after day, he still goes on MSNBC and CNN, and he goes on Fox News. He still goes on those mainstream platforms, but told Kyle Kulinski, you're not allowed to interview me on your own show if you want me to come. He threw him under the bus. That's what he does. Because he's no different than the rest of these progressives. You can be mad at me for saying these things, or you can be honest with yourself. You can look at things objectively. Because I say this all the time, and I'm never going to stop saying this. I refuse to ever kiss a politician's ass. I'm going to hold every single politician accountable, because I don't give a damn about being friends with politicians. I'm not the Young Turks. I'm not looking for access. I'm just telling you how it is and how I feel about things. So Bernie Sanders' way through was pathetic. Instead of extracting concessions from Joe Biden, he just did not want to look like Ralph Nader, and he kissed Joe Biden's ring. That's what he did. That was absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. So these people are not on your side. They're not. I said many times throughout this video. I said many times throughout my 100+ videos. These politicians are not on your side. The only way that you can get them to do things for you is if you force them. You can't be nice to them. You can't kiss their ass. You gotta make calls to their office. You have to protest. You have to stop donating to these people. Do not donate to Bernie Sanders unless he does what he said he would do for his constituents. Do not donate to AOC. Do not donate to Ilhan Omar. Do not donate to Cori Bush. Do not donate to Jamal Bowen. Stop donating to these people until they do what they said they're going to do. And our revolution, pathetic. Pathetic. These politicians, man, they're all narcissists. And they're just in it to further their political career. That's it. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Like the content, like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notification. I'll post videos in the future. But I gotta leave you with one more thing before the video is over, and that's the word of the day. The word of the day for today is narcissist. Narcissist is spelled N-A-R-C-I-S-I-S-T. The definition of narcissist is a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. So now I will attempt to use narcissist in a sentence. Every single Washington politician is a narcissist. You should not trust them in any circumstance. You should look at what they do rather than what they say. Hopefully I use that sentence correctly. So like I said, you like content, like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. I'll post videos in the future because YouTube will not show my videos unless you do so. And yeah, no, I have a Patreon account now. You want to donate anything on my Patreon, you can donate anywhere between $3 to $10 a month. Helps my channel grow massively. I would really appreciate it. Or you can donate to my buy me a coffee. You can donate unlimited amounts of money there. It's buymeacoffee.com/keep100Dre. Anything you donate is going to go right back on the channel, help build a better viewing experience for you. So that's all I gotta say for this video. I appreciate y'all watching. 100%. Peace.
Well, I've been stacking up. Nah, really, that ain't accurate. Cause I just spent my whole damn advance in the past couple months just to compensate for times we ain't have enough. Ooh.